Most people think fat loss is just calories in versus calories out. But what if I told you there's something deeper? Insulin is the hormone that literally blocks fat burning, drives fat storage, and yes, it leads to diabetes. And it hits us brown people even harder because of our genetics, our high carb diets, and our cultural habits like eating late at night or living on tea and biscuits. Now, this isn't just it's why so many South Asians struggle to lose belly fat even when they're eating less. Now, why should you listen to me? I've been training since I was 13 and now I'm 26. So that's just 13 years under the belt. I've lost weight multiple times. Once I dropped nearly 30 pounds of fat, and on another occasion, I dropped over 20 pounds of fat. And now I'm keeping a lean and aesthetic physique year round. I've coached my friends during their life. I've taught them everything from form, technique to training principles. And now they train confidently and on their own because of that foundation. And now it's time I help guys like my younger self, brown guys, because trying to piece together information from random YouTube videos and articles takes years, and I've already done the work for you. Now, insulin isn't just about diabetes. Insulin blocks fat burning. Now, when I talk about insulin, boys, it's a very mysterious thing because I'm talking about right now. But if for some of you, it might be epiphany. You might think to yourself, you know what? I do train a lot. I do eat less, but the amount of weight I lose or I'm losing is literally zero, or it's very, very slow. And for a very long time, that was me as well. I thought I was training very, very hard, right? And I was in a big calorie deficit. And I think to myself, I'm not losing a lot of weight, right? And I'm not looking that much different. But the thing is, I did some more research and I realized it was my insulin. My insulin was just very, very high and it was messed up. And what high insulin means is your body just stores fat very, very easily instead of actually using your fat. Now, brown genetics and diet, it definitely plays a part in our insulin spiking a lot, even from so-called healthy foods like, like roti and rice. So what we need to do is, and it's a bit of a lifestyle and cultural change we need to do is, because the thing is, insulin is not probably, but it definitely causes people to become obese. It messes up your sugar regulation and it will definitely give you diabetes and other issues that come alongside that. So what you need to do is, first of all, lower the carbohydrates. Lower the carbohydrates severely, right? If you're someone who's eating loads of biscuits, loads of rice, loads of like processed food as well, which is even worse. But if you're someone who eats a lot of carbohydrates and they're like from processed things, they need to cut that out. Even if it's just for a temporary while, just cut that out because it will allow your insulin to come down and regulate itself. Because if it's really high, then it won't do anything. It will literally, you would not lose weight, you will not gain muscle as well. If you're someone who's been lifting for a while and gaining muscle has been a problem, then insulin might be your thing, because insulin can mess up your liver as well. The way to reduce your insulin is simply to stop eating so frequently. So just have meal times. Ideally, you would have maybe 1 or 2 meals. If you're someone who's massively overweight and your insulin is just messed up, right? You have diabetes or you're pre-diabetic, what you can do is have 1 meal a day or maybe 2 meals a day and just eat during the meal times. So if with your meal, depending on what you're having, keep it low carb, which is also very important too. Don't just have 2 meals of like pizzas, which won't really do anything for you. Have high protein and low carb meals. What that will do is it'll lower your insulin, and another thing that will do, not as a side effect, but a little bit as a side effect, you'll definitely lose some fat and lose some weight as well. And first of all, you lose a lot of water weight, a lot of water weight. And you'll see a difference straight away, because once you get that momentum going, your insulin starts getting regulated. You start seeing results of your training very, very rapidly. It'll come all of a sudden. It'll come rapidly once you fix your insulin, because the weight will come off, your gains will come through, and because your hormones are a bit more regulated, you'll start making more gains. There'll be a lot more vascularity, a lot more, pumps, more separation. You just look a bit better. You'll feel a lot better. But keeping your insulin high, so you're not keeping your insulin regulated, not even low, but just regulated, can be a full-time job in this day and age, and especially if you're brown as well, because we're a little bit more prone to, sugar regulation issues. You'll probably know of a lot of people who have like high sugar, high diabetes, liver issues, kidney issues, heart issues. It all starts from the diet. And another thing you could do is, and a lot of brown people, have a problem with this. I'm not sure it's definitely a cultural thing, because I know they used to teach this in India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. They used to teach that high protein is not good, and it was a way to kind of keep the people eating peasant food. And also it was so brainwashed into them, they would teach them that high protein is not good for the kidneys, which is absolutely BS, right? We need high levels of protein every single day, because it's responsible for muscle growth, if it's responsible for recovery for your joints, for your tissues. And another thing is, we literally need it, not even more so as you get older, but as you're older, it's very healthy to have considerable amount of muscle in your body, because it's a longevity thing as well. If your body's just all soft and mushy and fat, right? Of course, in terms of longevity, when you get older, your body's going to break down because there's too much, you just don't have any strength in you, and your body's all flabby and soft. It's probably hard on the joints. You probably won't be able to walk as well as you get older. You probably, need one of them Zimmer frames. You probably need a wheelchair. It's just not a very, very good thing to do. So you need to get insulin in check. And another thing is, it's a bit of a hack to kind of get you into fat burning and to kind of lower your insulin, is once, you have your meal, have a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Just get 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, put it in a warm cup of water, and just drink that. And what that will do is, it will suppress the amount of insulin in response you're getting. As long as you're eating your protein and your fats and a small amount of carbohydrates, your insulin response will be low in itself, because your insulin response will be massive as if you eat a lot of carbohydrates. So say, for example, the first meal of the day, or whatever meal of the day, you're having rice and you're having chicken, but you have a considerable amount of rice or whatever carbohydrate of your choosing, right? The amount of insulin response you get from your body, which will obviously skyrocket your blood sugar, will be considerable amount compared to if you have a very small amount of carbohydrates. Because the body in itself, what will do is, you might think to yourself, oh, Ismail, what would the body run off? Right, the body needs carbohydrates. The body will run off the fat of the body, and that's called ketosis. That's called ketosis. If you're someone whose insulin is constantly high, then you're just running off sugar. And what will happen is, once your body has finished from that sugar, the glycogen storage, you'll have a massive crash. Or, you'll feel like you want to eat something, even though you're not hungry, but your body's saying, you know what, we need something, we need sugar, we need energy. So it'll trick your body into thinking that you need a sweet, or you need a meal, when you don't. You're actually overweight as anything. If you're in ketosis and you were fasting, you could probably fast for like 2 months and still be healthy and still lose a lot of weight. And training, especially lifting and walking, it can directly improve the insulin sensitivity, so you can actually burn the fat. And as we said, I mentioned before, low carb diets improve insulin, keep your insulin regulated, keeps it lower, and it makes your fat loss a lot easier, even if calories are the same as well. Because I've noticed that as well. Because what happened was, when I started regulating my insulin, there would be rest days. Like, I've had a rest day where I've not really even done much, not many steps. I will just wake up a bit lighter. I'll just wake up a lot lighter. And there's studies to back everything I've said up here. I'll pop the studies in, maybe at the end of the video, or once I'm mentioning the things. But ideally, it'll probably be at the end of the video, so you can just check everything if you want. And if you want to learn more about insulin naturally, and how to, burn fat, train in an aesthetic way, how to sleep, how to recover, how to breathe, then join my free school community. The link will be in the description below, the first one. Click on that. And if you're interested in one-to-one coaching, I'm offering that for a limited time for just 10 people a month. And you can find that in my school community too. Navigate over to the classroom tab and it will be there. So yeah, boys. The school community is free to join on its own, so all of you better join now. Thank you.